Schaefer's not listening. You know, he says impulsively, I think I'll go back to plain old-fashioned surgery. The human body's scandalously inefficient. Instead of a mouth and an anus to get out of order, why not have all one-purpose hole to eat and eliminate? We would seal up the nose and mouth, fill in the stomach, make the air hole direct into the lungs where it should have been in the first place. Benway, why not one all-purpose blob? Did I ever tell you about the man who taught his asshole to talk? His whole abdomen would move up and down, you dig, farting out the words. It was unlike anything I ever heard. This ass talk had a sort of gut frequency. It hit you right down there like you gotta go. You know when the old colon gives you the elbow and feels sort of cold inside and you know all you have to do is turn loose? Well, this talking hit you right down there. A bubbly, thick, stagnant sound. A sound you could smell. This man worked for a carnival, you dig? And to start with it was like a novelty ventriloquist act. Real funny too at first. He had a number he called the Better Ol', and that was a scream, I tell you. I forget most of it, but it was clever, like, oh, I say, are you still down there, old thing? Nah, I had to go relieve myself. After a while, the ass started talking on its own. He would go in without anything prepared, and his ass would ad-lib and toss the gags back at him every time. Then it developed a sort of teeth-like raspy incurving hooks and started eating. He thought this was cute at first and built an act around it, but the asshole would eat its way through his pants and start talking on the street, shouting out it wanted equal rights. It would get drunk too and have crying jags nobody loved it and it wanted to be kissed same as any other mouth. Finally, it talked all the time, day and night. You could hear him for blocks screaming at it to shut up and beating it with his fist and sticking candles up it. But nothing did any good, and the asshole said to him, "It's you who will shut up in the end, not me, because we don't need you around here anymore. I can talk and eat and shit." After that, he began waking up in the morning with a transparent jelly-like tadpole's tail all over his mouth. This jelly is what scientists call UNDT, undifferentiated tissue, which can grow into any kind of flesh on the human body. He would tear it off his mouth and the pieces would stick to his hands like a burning gasoline jelly and grow anywhere on him. A glob of it fell. So finally his mouth sealed over and the whole head would have amputated spontaneous. Did you know? Can't read that sentence.
That's good.
So finally his mouth sealed over and the whole head would have amputated spontaneous, except for the eyes, you dig? That's the one thing the asshole couldn't do, was see. It needed the eyes. But nerve connections were blocked and infiltrated and atrophied, and so the brain couldn't give orders anymore. It was trapped in the skull, sealed off. For a while you could see the silent, helpless suffering of the brain behind the eyes. Then finally the brain must have died because the eyes went out. There was no more feeling in them than a crab's eye at the end of a stalk. That's the sex that passes the censor, squeezes through the between bureaus because there's always space between, in popular songs and grade B movies, giving away the basic American rottenness, spurting out like breaking boils, throwing out globes of that UNDT to fall everywhere and anywhere and grow into some degenerate cancerous life form, reproducing hideous or random image. Some would be entirely made of penis-like erectile tissue, others viscera barely covered over with skin, clusters of 3 and 4 eyes together, crisscross of mouth and assholes, human parts shaken around and poured out any way they fell. The end result of complete cellular representation is cancer. Democracy is cancerous, and Barus are its cancer. A Baru takes root anywhere in the state, turns malignant like the narcotics bureau, and grows, always reproducing more of its own kind until it chokes the host if not controlled or excised. Burrows cannot live without a host, being true parasitic organisms. A cooperative, on the other hand, can live without the state. That is the road to follow. The building up of independent units to meet needs of the people who participate in the functioning of the unit. A Baru operates an opposite principle of inventing needs to justify its existence. Bureaucracy is wrong. It's as wrong as a cancer, a turning away from the human evolutionary direction of infinite potentials and differentiation and independent spontaneous action to a complete parasitism of a virus. It is thought that the virus is a degeneration for more complex life form. It may at one time have been capable of independent life. now has fallen to the borderline between living and dead matter. It can exhibit living qualities only in a host by using the life of another, the renunciation of life itself, a falling towards inorganic, inflexible machine, towards dead matter. Burrows die when the structure of the state collapses. They are as helpless and unfit for independent existences as a displaced tapeworm or a virus that has killed the host.